everyone, this is Alan Schimmel, and we are at DUS 2017, San Francisco, sold out, standing room only, rocking and rolling. Our guest right now is CTO Anders Wallgren of Electric Cloud, who are the founding sponsors of DUS.
Yeah, it actually kind of grew out of our user conference.
Yes, it has.
Yeah.
Actually, we've done, in our long history of doing DUS videos, we had this conversation with Steve Verdi, about how the whole thing came about.
Yeah.
And you can go find that on our DevOps TV if you go back to previous DUS interviews over the years. But Anders, we're here for 2017. You're a speaker this year.
Yep.
Why don't you share a little bit with our audience? What are you speaking about?
I'm talking about software architecture and software pipeline architecture as well. There's a lot of talk these days about serverless and microservices and a lot of other things, API gateways, all kinds of different things. And what's the right thing for you? What are the pitfalls? What are the good things? What are the bad things? Do's and don'ts, those kinds of things, based largely on kind of the literature that's out there and also the experience that we get working with our customers as well.
Anders, that's sort of a fallacy in the tech space, and you and I have both been in the tech world a long time. Everyone assumes because the new, hottest, latest, greatest thing is out that we're going to have 100% migration to this thing, and in with the new and out with the old. Let's toss it out with the bathwater. But in real life, that's not the way it works.
No,
right?
No. I mean, if somebody uses the word legacy again, I might go ballistic.
Okay.
The only acceptable definition.
Don't use legacy.
Yeah. I think the only acceptable definition of legacy is Michael Feathers, which is untested code. Mm-hmm. That I think we get to use the sort of slight pejorative of legacy, but mainframes are not legacy.
Absolutely.
Mainframes are keeping the lights on and keeping the money coming in, and
at a lot of places. And that let's not get into the whole bimodal thing, but mainframes are doing DevOps. Mainframes are doing a lot of cutting edge stuff.
Absolutely.
But even if you take something like cloud, and everything's in the cloud, everything's not in the cloud.
Yeah.
A lot of companies, 98% of the companies are probably using cloud, but really for probably less than 15 or 20% of their infrastructure.
And it's difficult.
That's 10 years already.
Yeah, I mean it's difficult because there are privacy restrictions sometimes on what can and can't go. There are still kind of IP and cultural issues very often about there's a lot of people whose job it is to say no in large enterprises.
Well, we work on those people in the security department, but
not just the security people.
Compliance.
Yeah,
but but you know what, Anders? In a bigger world, it's also not to get all man on us, right? But men and their tools, boys and their toys. It's about using the right tool for the job.
Yeah.
And it may not be the newest, greatest thing that's the right tool for a particular job.
Absolutely.
And I think that's the important thing people realize. How do you know what's the right tool for the job? You got to be doing your analytics. You got to be looking at metrics. Yeah. And I wanted to talk to you about that next.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing that we've been working on a lot in our products in the last 18 months or so is really kind of, as we see the whole kind of software pipeline flow by in electric flow, pun intended, I suppose. There's a lot of data that gets thrown off of that. And so what we're starting to do now is kind of throw up that data. Well, that's maybe not the right thing to say, but throw up that data into dashboards and start to do analytics and, working with the community to figure out what is a good set of initial metrics to look at. And because as we know, and, Jez Humble says this all the time, your metrics today are going to be different than your metrics tomorrow. And if they're not, that means they're useless metrics because you're not using them to change what you need to change and then move on to the next thing. So that's that's a rich area of exploration for us now.
Will we be seeing, not to put you on the spot and don't say anything you're not supposed to, but will we be seeing more of this kind of stuff from Electric Cloud?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean we shipped our DevOps Insight server, which is a component of Electric Flow. That not only can take all of the data that we're seeing, but also can take in data from other systems as well that we don't necessarily run or control, and kind of give you more of a kind of a bigger picture view of what's going on.
Of that.
Yeah.
So Anders, let me talk quickly a little bit about the DevOps Enterprise Summit this year. Hopes, dreams.
I one of the things I always love about the show is getting to hear what's happened since last year. Because this has really kind of been an ongoing conversation with a rather large set of individuals on, here's what we're trying to do. Here's what worked. Here's what didn't work. And I love the fact that, all these people get together, talk in front of their competitors, don't care. It's a, I always say it's kind of like a support group for DevOps. Get together and kind of share the war stories and, what worked and what didn't work. And so I'm always excited to hear kind of what's changed, but I'm also excited to hear kind of what the new things are. What are the new things we're trying? New entrants to the
Sure.
to the show. So that's always fun too.
Absolutely. It's for those watching this. We recorded this early, first day of DevOps of the show, and so I haven't had a lot of time to mingle. But I did during breakfast, and I was always pleasantly surprised by the camp atmosphere, if you will, right? So in the security world, we have Black Hat and DEF CON together in Vegas, usually first week in August. And a lot of us call that sort of security camp, right? Cybersecurity camp, whatever you want to call it. Or, summer camp for the security industry. It's that same sort of feeling here, right?
Yeah.
Seeing people who, you haven't seen maybe since last year.
Yeah.
Finding out how school and life is going and all of that. So there is that camaraderie, but there's also, as the show continues to grow every year, there's also net new people. Yeah. Who are here for the first time.
Absolutely.
And experiencing this.
So. And I think one of the most exciting things for me, or maybe for our company, and I mean, there's a little bit of sort of self-interest here, absolutely, but people come to the show and then they'll come to us,
right?
Or somebody else. I mean, it doesn't have to be us, and just say, okay, now, I get it. I'm all fired up.
Exactly.
Let's help us do something.
Yep. I think there's absolutely a lot of that. And that's look, that's why frankly a lot of people, sponsor the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a lot of the vendors are here for that.
Absolutely, yeah.
But it's a great learning event, Anders. And just a quick shameless plug, you and I are I'm moderating, you're part of the panel. Tomorrow on DevSecOps. It's called It's Not You or Me, It's We.
Yeah.
And
which really you can apply to just about anything in the in the arena, but
in the
security in
space,
particular.
Security needs that little extra push, though. We'll talk about it tomorrow.
Yeah.
But for those who by the time you see this, the show will be over, I assume, and you're not going to be able to make it live. But that will also be available on YouTube.
Yep.
And I'll try to post some links to that when we publish this.
Yeah, that should be a great panel.
Absolutely. Anyway, Anders, pleasure having you here.
Likewise.
Good luck with your talk. We'll
Likewise.
see you on the panel.
Absolutely.
Keep us posted with all the latest and greatest from Electric Cloud.
Always will. Always will.
All right, folks. Anders Wallgren, CTO, Electric Cloud. This is Alan Schimmel for DevOps.com, DevOps TV, here at the DevOps Enterprise Summit 2017, San Francisco.